And here we go.
There's the W. Here's ignition.
Doubling up.
Did he just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, you know.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, it sure looks like a perfect flow.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
We did have an observation.
Inclination.
343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers can fly!
Bingo! Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No!
Oh my god.
Yikes. You bet. Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Good morning, everybody, and we welcome back to another NSF live stream from right here on the Space Coast of Florida. You are currently taking a live look over at Space Launch Complex 40 at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, where SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket is poised and ready to launch the Starlink 10-40 mission, hopefully in just under 1 hour's time. Seeing a bunch of 5x5s in chat, y'all. It is good to see y'all here, and we know it is a very, very early morning for those here, especially on the east coast of the U.S. Glad to have you around for this morning's mission, because it is currently set up to be a stunner. My name is Max Evans, and I will be your host for this morning stream. I almost said tonight's stream, but it is not tonight. It is a very early Wednesday morning here on the east coast of the U.S. But safe to say things are going to be beautiful, assuming all gets off on time as it is currently sitting or standing to in about 51 minutes time. So as usual, I am not alone here out in the field because, yes, I am in the field tonight as well here at the Kennedy Space Center. I am joined by the one and only Jerry Pike out there in the field manning all the cameras and will also be on a commentary tonight. Jerry, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good for being up at 5 in the morning, so just past 5 o'clock Eastern, so we're out here. Yeah, it's very, very damp. It's looking to be a nice launch, though. You know, hopefully looking for a big jellyfish tonight or this morning or whatever it is, but excited to see what this one brings in for its odd hours.
Yeah, 100%. Assuming all goes or all happens as it's currently scheduled to. Good Lord, I have like a cotton mouth. It should be an absolutely gorgeous fun, but we will talk about that more in a minute. But behind the scenes, pushing the buttons and pulling the levers is the one and only Kevin Michael Reed. For once on a Starlink mission, which is kind of rare to see him here. But thank you very much for doing all that you do, Kevin. We are glad to see you around as well. So while we have a moment, let's get into the mission and talk about what exactly is going to be flying tonight. So, as you can currently see on your screen, even though it is kind of dark, I think the camera is still a bit moist. SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket is over at Pad 40 this evening. This morning over at Pad 40, hoping to launch 29 more Starlink V2 mini satellites into a 53-degree inclination low Earth orbit, heading northeast. The booster on this occasion is booster B1080, and this is its 25th flight as it is currently standing. So it's obviously not a young booster by any means, but Jerry, would you mind walking us through a bit of its flight history so far?
Sure, I can do that. So this booster here, excuse me for having to look this up. Safe to say it's done a good bit of Starlink missions, but on the other side, it has also launched Axiom 2, Euclid satellite Axiom 3, CRS-30, SES-24, and NG-21, along with another handful of Starlink satellites.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the boosters in the fleet, if not most of them, a majority of their flight history to this point are Starlink missions, considering the current launch cadence they are currently holding, averaging about every 2 to 4 days, as things have been stacking up so far in 2026. Crazy to think that it's crazy to imagine or think that we are now into the first week of March when New Year's felt like, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago. This year's flying by, but we have been very, very busy bee. So that I guess time flies when you're having fun. But also stationed downrange to hopefully be recovering this booster and the fairings is the drone ship a Shortfall of Gravitas, and stationed about 100 kilometers farther downrange is the fairing recovery vessel Doug. So hoping to scoop those payload fairings out of the water for reflight and reuse at some point in the future. And also, I didn't cover it. The drone ship is about 600 kilometers downrange and heading northeast because while we have become so used to the Group 6 shell heading southeast, because that is what has been launching most of the time. With the Group 10 shell, they have the flexibility to be able to launch either southeast, or in this case, and like the previous mission, 1041, they have the ability to launch northeast as well. The launch window, oh my goodness, the launch window this morning actually opened up at about 1:58 a.m. local time, so just before 2 a.m., and closes at 5:58 a.m. So as you can see, we did not go live at almost 2 a.m. this morning. We are going live at almost, or we went live just before 5 a.m. So they have quite obviously pushed to the end of the window. Unfortunately, the reasons for that are not exactly known. We don't have the best of access as to why these things push the way they do. It's kind of annoying for us here on the ground because having to stick out for a full window like this at this time of the morning or night can be a bit of a drag sometimes. But once we see Falcon 9 light up and get off the ground, it is always a good time. But one of the biggest advantages of launching at the time that is currently selected is, Jerry, I think you and I have both talked about it a lot to this point, or at least hinting at it, is a very strong potential for a jellyfish this morning. So what exactly is that, and why is that so special?
Yeah, so what we would call the launch jellyfish is it's an interaction with either the rising or the setting sun. In this case, it would be the rising sun coming from the east here. As the second stage goes up into the upper atmosphere, it will rise, above the horizon of the Earth that we can see here as the sun is coming up, and that sun interacts with that plume that is coming out of the second stage as it propels itself into orbit and creates this really, really beautiful, like almost halo or jellyfish effect is what, is kind of the coined term for this, but it's this really, really interesting and really beautiful, like glowing exhaust plume jellyfish thing that that is going through the sky. It's quite almost alien looking at times.
It really is, and it's not really a phenomenon that we get normally here on the Space Coast. I know those over at Vandenberg and especially Los Angeles. It seems like they have a good jelly at least like once or twice a month. Because I guess the Falcon 9 Starlink launch cadence over there has been timed up really well at times with the sun going down. Whereas while we can get that here at sunset at times as well, but it's most prominent at night here, at least before, oh my goodness, right before sunrise, because of course, flying towards the east and the sun rising in the east, it's flying directly into the sun and into the sunlight as it flies higher and higher. So, but again, we haven't really had one of these phenomenons here in quite a long time. At least that's been as dramatic as we have seen over on the West Coast. So hoping for some good news and some great visuals for our cameras here this morning, and also for our Mark 1 eyeballs, and for all of you who also happen to be on the East Coast of the U.S., kind of parallel to the flight path. So real quick in chat, if let me know where you guys are watching from, and I guess we can try to answer your questions as best as we can as to how good of a view you are going to have. Which also reminds me, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to tag us in chat at NASA Spaceflight or at NSF, and we will get to your questions as they come, and hopefully answering them with enough detail. Really quick though, before we kick off any farther, I want to hit some support that we got before even going live. Both Oscar and Starship Gazer Greg becoming Capcom members, so thank you very much for your support, everybody. Then also user 0102 also becoming a red team member. Actually, forgive me. Thank you very much for that support, everybody. All right, now into some questions here in the chat. Actually, I'm going through chat now, seeing where you guys are watching from. I'm seeing Delaware, seeing the Jersey Shore, the UK, Germany, Florida, nowhere near the Space Coast, though. That's okay. You might still be able to see, depending on where you are. Arkansas, Detroit, you guys are all over the place. And I also saw some North Carolinas in there before we even went live as well. Asheville, there we go. Asheville, North Carolina there, and Connecticut as well. So yeah, you guys are all over the place, and we love to see it. Because last time we had a mission like this launching in somewhat close proximity to either a sunrise or a sunset, people had a visual on it as far north as I think the farthest north that we saw anyone tag us in photos or anything was Boston, which is about 800 to 1,000 miles north of where we are currently in Central Florida, which is maybe 1,400 to 1,600 kilometers, somewhere in there for those who are using metric. Japan and Brazil, Queensland, Australia, Maryland. Oh my goodness gracious. You guys, that is awesome. So far and wide. That is incredible. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That means a lot. Oh my goodness. I did not expect anyone. Montenegro! Holy crap.
Yeah, I think some of these folks up the eastern coast of the U.S. should get a really nice show this morning. You know, especially as it goes farther north. You know, the sun is actually going to be closer and farther to the west, so it's going to be a little bit more of a dramatic effect up there. But some of them, like Queensland, I don't think quite are going to see the same thing. But definitely, the east coast of the U.S. is going to have a show this morning if you're up early going to work or whatnot.
100%. And if anybody up the coast takes any photos or videos and wants to post it on social media, whether it be on X, Instagram, whatever, please feel free to tag us here on the main account at NSF or us here in the field. Jerry Pike and also myself, our handle should be up at some point with our cards. Go back and rewind it to, I guess, get those as well. But yeah, please post them and tag them. We would love to see those. It was an awesome time to see last time as well. Okay, let's get into some questions while we can. First from, oh goodness gracious, the way the panel is oriented right now, I can't read this properly. That one awesome jet aviator, I think is what it is. Let's see. Is asking why the night launches. Does it need to have a certain window for it to get up there, or what else can it be? So, Jerry, from my best understanding of why SpaceX has been targeting these nighttime windows, whether it be between like 8 p.m. to like 6 a.m., is because there is reduced air traffic into the eastern arrival corridor into the Orlando International Airport, right?
Definitely. I think that is one of the factors that plays into this, and we kind of saw that take effect back during the government shutdown last year when they had reduced air traffic control staffing. The FAA released is an advisory, I guess is maybe the right term, that prevented non-DoD or non-government launches from happening during like the daylight busy hours. So in response to that, SpaceX is like, okay, we'll just launch everything starting at the very beginning of our opening at the window, which was 10:01 p.m. Eastern, which basically shows that they basically have the flexibility to launch these kind of whenever they want within reason. But yeah, definitely air traffic is a concern, and also weather is also a big concern for them, right? Especially coming here in like the summer in Florida, there's thunderstorms and lots of other weather constraints that will play a role. And you know, if they can scrub less launches due to weather, that's definitely the better. You know, there's almost no weather concerns as of this morning, you know, so it's definitely playing in their favor that they're launching at these really, like, you know, terrible night conditions. But it's for a reason.
That actually brings up a really great question here from Resisto Jet that we haven't actually covered yet. How is the weather looking for the launch this morning? I don't know if we have the forecast available from the 45th Weather Squadron that we normally do. I don't see it in our back channels anywhere. But but at least according to our Mark 1 eyeballs, the skies are absolutely crystal clear. There is not a single cloud hanging around anywhere near the Space Center or here in Central Florida at all currently, as it is now. It is the temperatures are pretty pleasant right now. I want to say in the mid 70s, and there is really not even a breath of wind out here. The wind is about as stagnant as it can get, which means that any moisture in the air currently is going to build up, and there is a risk of fog this morning. So, but usually that is normally the case around this time of the morning when there is this much moisture in the air. I want to say it's around 85 to 90% humid right now in Central Florida, or at least where we are here at the Kennedy Space Center, which is dry sometimes, especially in the summer. I guess that could be considered dry, but we are not certainly in the desert, and we do get daily rainstorms come spring and summertime, which we are getting dangerously close to now because, believe it or not, again, we are already in the first week of March, which is really weird to think about because New Year's feels like last week somehow. But March is when the weather begins to turn over from the more calm fronts that we get in the wintertime into the more dynamic and unstable conditions that we get in the summertime. So, yeah, a bit unfortunate to see that because the weather here is usually a lot more enjoyable in the time around late December into where we are now into early March. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that launching at night, regardless, gives you a lot better odds of launching and not having as much risk of there being a weather-related delay. So, yes, things are looking good so far tonight from what we can see. Okay, coming up on T-minus 37 minutes into the countdown. So, Jerry, at this point, I don't know if you are busy or not, but are you able to talk about where exactly we are in the countdown and what milestone we just crossed about a minute ago?
I don't have the actual countdown pulled up right, but I should assume that we are going to be going into fueling here soon, as we usually don't get that confirmation from SpaceX about prop load, but I'm assuming that they will probably go for prop load if we haven't heard any slips in this timeline for pushing maybe to the end of the window another like 8 or so minutes that they have. But looking for frost at the bottom of this booster now here, it's hard to tell if that second lower white line is frost or not. There's been this other ring, I think, of clean soot that's been a little higher on the booster that almost is like this pseudo frost line, but that's been there the entire time and it's not what we're looking at. But a little lower than that, you should expect to see a ring of white frost appear as they start to fuel the booster with its cryogenic propellants.
Yeah, the go or no go for prop load should have been given about exactly 2 minutes ago from now, almost into 2 minutes ago at T-minus 38 minutes, where the SpaceX launch director will either verify if the vehicle and ground systems are either go or no go to proceed into propellant loading, which begins at T-minus 35 minutes for both stage 1 RP1 and LOX load, and then also stage 2 RP1 load as well. So if all is good there, normally we see frost in the neighborhood of maybe 32 minutes or T-minus 32 minutes and change is when we normally see it. Depends on what the atmosphere is doing and how early that frost begins to form. But we should not be too far away now from some sort of visual confirmation of prop load being underway. But again, the launch window this morning opened just before 2 a.m. Local time, and that was 1:58 to be precise, and closes at 5:58. And the current T0 is at 5:52. So this is their last opportunity in the window. If they do not go today, that they are going to go in about 24 hours from now, pending what issues could be giving them trouble. So. Yeah, it's either now or not at all, whether or not they go for prop load at all this morning. So fingers crossed, all was trending in the right direction. Ooh, fleet cam. I think this is the Voyager vessel that we saw kind of out there waltzing around in the area where the solid rocket motors from Vulcan would have dropped off. I wonder why that could have been there, or what it could have been looking for. Maybe a booster with a nozzle that had maybe popped off during a recent launch. I'm not entirely sure though. But that is
Yeah,
what
that's Oh, sorry, I was
Go ahead.
gonna
No,
step in
you're
here.
good.
It's definitely an interesting question, right? We've been, looking at where this vessel has come from. For context, maybe this is the exact vessel that the last time, or actually not. Well, if you go by the timeline, on Flight 2 of Vulcan, if you remember, it had a nozzle observation, as they would put it.
Yep.
And they had a recovery ship go out and recovered the broken nozzle and SRBs from that flight. And then on Flight 3, when they went to test those fixes, they also recovered the SRBs from that Flight 3 of Vulcan as well. So this ship, the Voyager, which actually used to be owned by Space Perspective, was the ship that recovered the solid rocket motors from Flight 3 of Vulcan, which in retrospect, it went well from the SRB perspective, but issue still persists, and here we are again with this Vulcan issue. So it's definitely interesting to keep an eye on, and there is that solid rocket motor from the third flight of Vulcan that was recovered on board Voyager, which you were just looking at a couple seconds ago here. So it's definitely seems likely that they could use the ship again to be searching for these, but there's lots of other things that are going on off the coast, all sorts of different activities, and it remains to be seen yet. So haven't seen anything definitive, but it's definitely a chance.
It's definitely it definitely makes you raise a couple of eyebrows there for sure, just given the timing and the area where it was searching. But again, I'm sure ULA and Northrop Grumman in particular want to know why this happened again and why they had a repeat of an issue that they thought that they had solved. So fingers crossed that they can fix that issue as soon as they can, because we do not like to see Vulcan's launch cadence being interrupted. Because I think everyone was under the same impression that ULA wanted to launch Vulcan a ton this year. So, but unfortunately, given the events of the recent mission with USSF 87, I don't think it's going to be launching again anytime soon. If the previous timeline is anything to go off of for this one going forward, it might be another 9 months or so before we see it fly again, but it'll all depend on how quickly that they can get to the bottom of this investigation and figure out why what happened. So, don't know. We will keep our eyes open for sure. Jerry, do I see
9 months?
breaking news here?
There
Is that
is
frost
frost.
on the bottom of the LOX tank there?
There definitely is. So we are confirmed into prop load for tonight, which means that they are go for this window. And if they have to pause or cancel this for any reason, it will result in a scrub for the day. So hopefully that does not happen. But I know I just said that word, but
Oh no, you did! Dang it, Jerry!
but we'll keep some hope up here. It's an early morning Starlink. I hopefully there's no foreseeable issues here, but we're definitely go into prop load now.
Jerry, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning for you to say the S word.
Uh-oh. Is that a very unhappy Kevin
That
Michael
is
Reed coming in to interrupt?
Grumpy KMR coming into the stream here. But yes, the Florida atmosphere is definitely very conducive this morning to have a great visual on this frost and condensation because it is so ridiculously humid out.
And very still as well. There's no wind anywhere to blow frost off of the booster at all. If we can get a camera over, if possible, get one of our KSC cameras here on the flag by the countdown clock here, it is literally hanging straight down. The air is not moving at all, which is great. It means it's nice and calm. It means our microphone should be picking up a whole bunch of good stuff during launch. But also that means, given the amount of moisture in the air right now, that there is a high potential of fog to form at some point, somewhere. I know I'm not sure how it was for you, Jerry, but I drove through a couple of pockets here, at least once, especially once I was inside the gates here at the KSC, which was kind of worrying, given the events of a couple of missions ago, it was where we couldn't even see the pad at all.
Yeah, it's definitely not trending in that horrible of a direction. I believe that one was a little bit
Yes.
later in the morning, actually, but the fog wasn't as bad. I hit more fog in Central Florida this evening than over on the East Coast and the Space Coast. So holding out some hope here that the fog stays away in this early morning here.
Indeed. And if it does, I mean, it currently looks like it's going to, knock on wood, knock on whatever you have around you for good luck. As we have talked about already, we could be in for a spectacular visual show this morning in that we may get a wonderful jellyfish effect in flight, especially come flight of stage 2 after stage separation. So hoping all goes well there. Our cameras are certainly going to be ready to capture that and track that as best they can. I know I already have a camera down by the turn basin here to get a wider streak shot of it. I have one more camera with me up here to try and get a wider frame of it. Because I've seen some people asking about if we have any jellyfish prints in the shop yet. I don't believe we actually do. One, because the opportunity is incredibly rare to get those, especially here in Florida. But also, the settings that you have to work with in the camera are much different to capture it properly compared to capturing the launch itself, in that you have to expose your camera a lot darker initially for launch, and it's quite the change that you have to make for your camera to be exposed properly. And more often than not, you have like maybe 30 seconds to about 60 seconds to get the really good shot before the plume expands really, really wide and loses its main shape. But not quite sure how it's going to look this morning because the current T0 of 5:52 is about 45 to 50 minutes before sunrise here. But according to the jellyfish calculator made by our good friend John Kraus, there is a great potential for a highly defined jellyfish effect to happen this morning, which is great news because, again, we haven't had one here in quite some time.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a first. It'll be a good test for this first release of it to see if it's accurate at all.
Yeah,
So,
right. Especially
it's
here
going to
in
get
Florida.
put. It's put right on the spot here. So
Yeah, no kidding.
trial by fire.
And again, because this effect should be visual or should be seen from anyone up the East Coast, whether you're in Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, even going all the way as far north as Boston. If you guys are looking right in the exact spot, or if you're looking in the right area of the sky, you should have an easy visual of this morning's launch. So again, if you take any photos or videos and post them, please tag us. We would love to see those because there was a great deal of people tagging us last time, and it was quite the treat to see.
Yeah, I was honestly a bit surprised about how many people just saw that launch that was,
Yeah.
no potential for jellyfish. It was way after sunset, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and it
Right.
was still very visible up the eastern coast. It's something that we kind of take for granted down here in Florida, but like those folks that are up, the eastern seaboard of the U.S., got a chance to see something that they usually don't see when they're launching southeast over the Bahamas. So
Yep.
it's an even greater potential up this morning due to this, jellyfish effect, which will be very visually, stunning and obvious in the air.
Yeah, I think obvious is the right word because there really is not going to be like it's going to be hard to miss. You might not know exactly what it is if you don't know what's going on, but if you're looking in that area of the sky, you're not going to miss it unless there's clouds blocking your view, which is likely given that it's Florida and weather can change quite a lot and rapidly.
It's
You know,
aliens. That's what it is.
I was just about to say, up here in Connecticut, I saw posts, all my friends or colleagues or whatever on Facebook saying, "Did you see that? It's aliens." Yeah, it's not aliens.
I mean, it might be for all we know, right? Right?
Um,
Right?
no, no,
No.
it's not. It's not.
Aliens, Kevin. Aliens. But yes, given the current time, very likely dramatic is actually the language that was used there. So I think it's safe to say that we are going to have a show one way or the other, especially actually if you are farther north than where we are now into the flight path. So yes, this is going to be a beautiful one, and as things are panning out now, we should have a great view of it here on the ground as well. Okay, let's
Yeah,
dive into.
definitely.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just definitely very excited to go and track this one and see what becomes of this, a potential effect here. It should be very interesting this morning.
I know, and we've been talking about it a lot so far, but I think you can tell that we don't see one or see many of these at all, because because if there's even the most remote possibility of one, people who don't normally go out and capture launches are going to go out and try to get it. And of course, we can't stop talking about it because we hardly ever get these. I honestly can't remember the last time we got one, either as defined as this one is predicted to be, or even just a really good one. I want to say we get, oh Lord, maybe 2 a year, depending on launch times, whether it be sunrise or sunset, because we have had a couple launching at sunset where the visuals have been spectacular, but it's a lot more dramatic at sunrise because the sky will be will still be pretty dark here, and of course Falcon 9 is flying directly into and towards the sun, as opposed to sunset here on the east coast of Florida, where it is going up back into the sun, but it's flying away from it. So different effects, different visuals, but we haven't had this great of an opportunity for sunrise in quite a long time, let alone one with weather that looks like it's going to be cooperating as well as this one is so far. So fingers crossed, cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross everything you got, and then hopefully everything goes off on time today. All right, coming up on T-minus 23 minutes, coming up on a rather important part of the timeline, but we will get to that when we get to it. But I want to get to this question from Assad first, asking, changing the topic to Starship for a minute. When do we expect Booster 19 to roll out? It's really tough to say right now. I mean, obviously the best we can do is keep an eye on road closures on SpaceX's website, based on what we can see from both the launch from the production site to the launch site. If we had to take a wild guess, considering where it is currently in its process, maybe on the more optimistic side, if they are still targeting like a late March, which I don't think March is happening. It's just in my opinion for a launch attempt for Flight 12. A week and a half or so on the more optimistic side, I think is best case scenario. I think on the more realistic side, anywhere from maybe 2.5, 3 weeks, because they are currently in the process of installing all 33 Raptor 3 engines at the base of it, which would be the first time that's happened. And given the importance of version 3 and what it needs to do and how it needs to perform this year, they really can't just throw these engines on and hope for the best. This booster and ship both have to work, so they can't really afford any slip-ups. And also, Pad 2 has to perform as well as it can, and there's still a bit of testing left to do at Pad 2 for the actual pad systems itself, which they can really only do if there is a vehicle on the pad. So whenever we do see the booster rolling out and get to the pad, it's not going to just be for a tanking test or for a static fire or multiple static fire tests. They still have to flow cryo through all of the plumbing there, both into and from the booster, to make sure that all welds and seals are holding. And also just to verify that everything works the same as it has so far, or better, once everything is hooked up to the actual booster itself. So there's a lot more testing to do outside of just having all the Raptors light up for a X amount of time. So there's a lot more to do there. But to answer your question, I want to say maybe as little as 2 weeks, but I guess we will have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there's definitely something to be said, regarding the launch as a whole of Flight 12. Was like, this is a completely new booster design. It's a completely new pad design. So there might be some kinks for SpaceX to work through on this new pad that they've never used before with anything, right? It's a completely new design from Pad 1. So they obviously have, the experience of fueling with Pad 1 and using Pad 1, but, it translates over, but not one-to-one. So I'm trying to think back and like how many like tanking and fueling and cryo tests they did on Pad 1 with a booster before Flight 1 of Starship. And I can't put like a timeline down off the top of my head, but like it's probably going to be a little bit more involved than we've seen on these previous like test flights of like 10, 11 and so forth.
Speaking of timelines, you just missed the T-minus 20-minute event.
I was going to bring that up, Kevin. You didn't have to rudely interrupt me like that. Gosh.
Yes, I did.
Yes, but yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. So as you can see, in which has been going on for about a minute now. We are currently witnessing the T-minus 20-minute and 20-second vent, which is the LOX chill down that SpaceX is currently performing on the internal plumbing on the strong back, or on the transporter erector and strong back itself, which is what is partially holding the rocket up. The reason why they do this is to thermally condition all of the materials and the plumbing inside of it in preparation for stage 2 LOX loading. And this should be continuing for about 2.5 more minutes or so, and it should wrap up at about 16.5 minutes. And when this vent stops, that should be our best visual indicator that stage 2 LOX load is underway and that things are progressing in the right direction. So, yeah, things are looking good so far. But also, I think we say it all the time, and it sounds kind of cliche, but that vent or that vapor coming out of the TE, or that GOX, as we say, or gaseous oxygen, serves as a great example as to what the weather is doing here in Florida. And as you can see, it is falling quite literally straight down and barely out of the current crew access tower there, as we see there as well. Yeah, yeah, yes, Jerry, GOX. It is an actual terminology, GOX, or gaseous oxygen, as opposed to LOX or liquid oxygen. GOX is a thing. But yeah, it's falling straight down. That cloud is very thick and has quite good, I guess, shape to it as well, because it is very humid here in Florida, and that gas has nowhere to evaporate to. So yeah, that will continue for about a little over a minute from now, and once that stops, that is our visual indicator that things are still progressing in the right direction. So fingers crossed. Ooh, we have a couple of people out there actually here on the Space Coast watching the launch tonight. Let's see here. I first have one from Chris Kember saying it's my son's birthday today, and he is heading to the Kennedy Point Park to watch his first launch this morning. Shout out to Jack Kember from the UK. He caught the stage separation from Orlando on Sunday. That is awesome, dude. Congratulations. I'm so glad to hear that your son Jack is out here as well, dude. That is awesome. Oh no, your name's Jack. No, Chris. No, I can't read. Brain is not braining. I'm sorry, but either way, I'm so glad to see that one of you is out here this morning and watching the launch. It's going to be a spectacular show, one way or the other, and that is a great spot to watch as well, because you are right on the Indian River, and you are right across the water from the pad there. So, and with it heading northeast, you should have a great view on the trajectory as it ascends on a northeast corridor tonight. So this morning as well. So, great spot to watch. I'm glad you guys are here, and thank you so much for being tuned in. How you doing? How you doing down there, Jerry? Is it still very humid and, I guess, wet down there?
Yeah, extremely humid down here. That's the part of the reason we keep cutting away from this frame. Is you'll notice every 5 or 10 minutes it gets really dark, and that's just as an effect of the lens having a bunch of water build up on the front element, so I have to keep wiping and wiping and wiping. It's just progressive maintenance here down in the field, but it's very stagnant. There was a couple mosquitoes around earlier, which isn't fun because the air was so calm, but it's looking nice, right? And then always nice to hear of the folks that don't get to see these sorts of things, from the UK or wherever, coming to Florida and being able to catch one of these rocket launches. With the rate that SpaceX is going now, it's definitely more likely than not that they're able to catch something, which is really nice.
100%. And I think you had it said best, where, or actually it was a bad reminder of what's to come, because normally in the winter months here, with the cooler temperatures and the lack of wind, we aren't battling anywhere near as much bugs at night. But we've seen a couple of those pesky mosquitoes buzzing around in my ear. And it was just an unpleasant reminder of what's to come in the spring and summer months. I'm not looking forward to that one bit. I'm sure you aren't either, nor is D, because I know all three of us have had quite the experience with those pesky bugs before. But such is life here on the Space Coast of Florida. All right, coming up on T-minus 14 and a half minutes. And for those of you who are just tuning in, this is a launch of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket from Space Launch Complex 40 at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station for the Starlink 10-40 mission, launching 29 Starlink V2 mini satellites into a low Earth orbit heading northeast. So about business as usual for SpaceX in this case, but in terms of a potential visual spectacle being a launch jellyfish, I think everyone here who is watching both with us on stream and those who are here in person somewhere on the Space Coast is going to get quite the show this morning if all goes well. Seeing some more people saying that they are actually in the area, like Sherry Down Park, that is just south of, or that is in the area of Cape Canaveral. Amazing spot to watch. Cocoa Beach. I think I saw one more somewhere in the Titusville area, which is also a great spot. We also have a video on YouTube, guys, about what spots are good to watch launch from, either up here up in the northern areas of Titusville, or going all the way down the coast, down the river and toward the ocean, towards the beaches of Cape Canaveral. There really is not going to be a bad seat in the house, but the better seats in the house, in my opinion, are going to be those around Titusville with Falcon 9 heading northeast tonight, and also with the potential of a launch jellyfish as it ascends farther into the sky. So, but again, there are not going to be any bad seats in the house tonight, especially those of y'all who are tuned into the stream tonight. So fingers crossed all goes well.
Yeah, it was pleasantly surprising to see the last Northeast launch, just how, involved and interested a lot of the people across the Northeast part of the United States were. They're going back to these Northeast launches this time of year, and they were all seemingly everybody was very excited to see them back again. It's something we kind of take for granted to just be able to see them at all here in Florida. Pretty much anywhere in Florida, going from over to Tampa to Miami, depending on the trajectory, you're able to see one of these launches from anywhere in some capacity. But in the Northeast, it's definitely not possible, especially if it's going southeast. But now this new, not new trajectory, but they've flip-flopped, every year depending on weather. But now that they're launching back to the Northeast, it's definitely cool that those up in that direction of the states can get to see it again.
Yeah, and it's not often as well that we see the Group 10 shell fly, and that's one of the few ones that has the ability to fly either northeast or southeast, depending on what SpaceX wants to do with their satellites. But as we have seen or gotten very used to, mostly with the Group 6 shell, that one only launches southeast, in which we have become, again, very used to over the past couple of years seeing it fly. So, yeah, but we are pleasantly surprised and delighted to see the return of the northeast trajectories. I think the farthest north that we had anyone tuning in or posting from last time was Boston. There may have been one or two more further north than that, but Boston is the first one that comes to mind. And mind you, that's anywhere from, I think, 900 to 1,000 miles north of where we are now, which is a very, very, very long way away. Safe to say.
Max, since you keep telling everybody to go outside and look, I'm thinking maybe I'll just go outside for a little bit.
No, Kevin, we need you. I'm sorry. Kevin, you are forbidden from going outside. I'm sorry. We need you here.
I never get to see the launches.
You were here a couple years ago and you saw 2 or 3 in person from the press site.
It's true. My first launch ever was a crew launch, and that was the coolest thing ever.
And you are forever spoiled because of it. Let's not forget that.
Nothing compares. Nothing compares to seeing astronauts drive right in front of the VFE, like 10 feet from you, going to the pad, and then you get to see them go to space. That's the coolest thing. I have a question, Max, to get Chad excited, because it's a little quiet right now. How many people have seen launches, and who's going to see one this year?
That's what I want. A good goal to make. Yeah, that's a really good goal to make, because it's different if you see one again up the coast, like you may or may not tonight. But seeing one here in Florida in person, either right across the river, or if you are lucky enough to find a way to see one launch from on site, either here at the Kennedy Space Center or at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, it is truly an experience you will never forget. It is so special and so raw as well, the closer you get. Seeing a bit of, at least on this camera, the sky is turning from a sort of like inky black to like a very dark blue there. So the very first evidence of the sun rising towards the horizon are becoming visible on this wide camera, which should give us a view of this wonderful jellyfish effect. Hopefully, if I had to predict, it would be anywhere from, oh goodness, if I had to predict when in flight it's going to be, at least for us here on the ground, I want to say we'll see it maybe around at the 3.5 to maybe 5 minute mark is when we might begin to see it. All depends, but we are 100% excited to find out.
Hey, Max, I just saw some people saying in chat, responding to me, saying that they can't see from Australia, but Australia now has a launch company. And I also saw someone say that they can't see it from New Zealand, but who launches from New Zealand, Max?
Rocket Lab. Oh goodness, excuse me. Yes, excuse me.
And they launch at least once a month, right? Something like
They
that.
have actually been launching Electron at a rather astonishing pace, and they have really upped their game in the last couple of years. I think they launched 21 times in the year 2025, and I think they're at 1 or 2 so far
Wow.
this year, including an actual public HASTE launch of a HASTE suborbital vehicle from Launch Complex 2 in Wallops. So yeah, Rocket Lab is having a wonderful time right now, and we are so stoked about it as well, because their launch complex in New Zealand, which is based at the Mahia Peninsula in northern New Zealand, is a wonderfully beautiful site. Jack and I had the wonderful privilege of going down and visiting the site in June of 2024. And he and I still talk about it to this day. It was a magical experience, but the folks at Rocket Lab could not be nicer and more, I guess, we were so stoked to be there, and they could tell. So we again cannot thank them enough for that. And even though that was,
You keep bringing up Stoke, but they're not in New Zealand, and they're
oh
not
my
launching
God.
yet.
Oh my God, Kevin! But they will be
Stoke
hopefully
isn't
launching from Launch
from
Complex
Florida.
14. Yeah, Launch Complex 14 here at the Cape. Hopefully, by the end of this year, we'll see how they go. But Stoke has been one of the more rapidly. I think it's safe to say that progress with them has been pretty rapid over the last year and a half as well, especially with engine development and also first and second stage advancing as well on their Nova launch vehicle. Yeah, seeing a bunch of people who are watching either with us or in person. Hopefully, yeah. So I think I saw oh goodness, I'm gonna have to scroll for this one. I saw somebody ask if they were able to see it. Oh goodness, where is it? I think it was okay. So so someone asked if they were able to see it in Ohio. There. Okay, I can't find the actual question here. I'm sorry. I forget your actual handle. But they're asking if they were able to see it in Ohio. I think Ohio is pretty far inland in the U.S. from the East Coast. I mean, maybe if you were towards the eastern border with Pennsylvania, maybe you'd have a chance if you're somewhat up high enough and you have a good enough visual down to the horizon without clouds really blocking your view. I don't know. I can't say for certainty, but I have doubts. I think that's fair to say, unfortunately. But you have great views here as we see some wonderful pad views now from, or I say as they got to an ad for Starlink here. But SpaceX's feeds are up now. We have wonderful pad views. We have cameras coming up as well. This is going to be a tracking shot from Jerry, and we also have a wide camera station down there as well. Hopefully to catch a visual of the launch and ascent trajectory and hopefully the big beautiful jellyfish that we see. Hopefully around 3 to 5 minutes in flight. So fingers crossed. Also,
You know where
folks,
else you can catch a visual?
what's that? Hey, yes, you can. Although we don't have any imagery so far of a space jelly in our shop
We
yet.
are what we call Nunataligakchu.
Oh, what am I? Kevin, was that you? Kevin.
That's SpaceX playing an ad.
I was like, Kevin.
I didn't know Starlink launches had ads.
Me
but,
either, actually. That's kind of shocking. But folks, we do have a bunch of prints in our store that are not just Falcon that they're not just Falcon 9, but we also have a bunch there from SLS, Falcon Heavy. We also have some in there from Electron and other launch vehicles as well. This is a great view. I think I took this one, didn't I? 1067's 32nd flight, I believe. I can't read that. It's tiny on my screen. Yes, I did hit that one. Yes. Yeah, a whole bunch of great prints available in our store. Hopefully, we can add one or two more tonight from the launch and the effects that we see downrange. Hoping to see. I have a couple cameras ready to try and grab something. We'll see it. We'll see how it goes. But we have a bunch, especially of the recent SLS rollback, all there as well for y'all to grab and enjoy and put in your wall. We also still have a bunch of calendars still around. I believe they're still currently 25% off, available for purchase and immediate shipping. So all some of the best ways that you can support us here and help keep the lights on and help keep these streams coming and bringing you guys the best views that we possibly can. But also, folks, we are going to be trying something different tonight. I'm going to be sending you guys off at about T-minus 2.5 minutes and hand you guys over to SpaceX's comms so you guys can get call outs from the countdown as it progresses toward T0. And I will check back in with you guys not long into flight and let you know how it is looking from here on the ground. And this is wow. Looking at this wide camera now from Jerry, there is a lot more light. Actually, I'm looking up with my eyes now as well because the camera sees it a bit better than I can so far. Seeing a bit of light over the horizon now, so that is going to be our cue that greatness is almost here. That's probably the best way that I can put it so far. The sun, or the mother of fire, is making her way toward the horizon. And we should be on for one of the most spectacular space jellies that we have seen in quite a long time here on the east coast of Florida. Chat, I hope you guys are excited. I know we are. I'm fumbling over words right now because I'm trying to figure out like how it's going to look. Complete. Stage 1 lock slow complete. Good call out there from SpaceX. But yeah, we are stoked. We hope you guys are too. I'm going to hand you guys over to SpaceX comms. And I will check back in with you guys during launch.
Stage 2 lock load is complete.
Ground gas closeouts.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
LD, go for launch.
All right, folks. Falcon 9 is off the ground, heading down range. Should be past the point of max Q by this. There we go. Good call outs from SpaceX there. And should be approaching the time where we begin to see some light on Falcon 9's exhaust plume. Probably about a minute or so after stage separation, which is coming up in just a few seconds from now. That exhaust plume expansion is so beautiful. I'm just looking at it now. I'm looking at it with you guys. The way it's changing color and shape as it ascends higher into the atmosphere from all 9 Merlin 1D engines. Great check from Jerry here. Look at that. Oh. Trying to call it out in real time. I think I'm beginning to see some light on the plume. Okay, here we go. We have Miko, main engine cutoff from the first stage. There we go. Visual here on the ground of MVAC startup. Second engine start number 1, SES1.
Go.
There we go. Falcon 9 heading down range. This should be around when the craziness might... Here we go. Call-outs from SpaceX Stream there about MVAC startup. Apologies about the latency there. But the craziness might be starting here in about a minute. Trying to judge... At least visually speaking from here on the... Oh. The plume's turning... Oh my god, the plume's turning orange, guys. The plume is turning orange. As you can see there from the onboard camera, oh my goodness gracious, the plume is turning orange. Oh my goodness, here it comes. Holy cow. Base jellyfish action is happening, folks. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's wow. Oh my goodness. That is one of the most spectacular. Wow. That is stunning. You can actually see Falcon 9's first stage and both fairing halves and their RCS thrusters firing at the bottom part of the plume there. The reason why you guys are seeing this right now is because Falcon 9's first and second stages are now currently in sunlight, and in contrast against the dark night sky here, or early morning sky here on the east coast of Florida and the east coast of the U.S., there's that great contrast there, and that is what we call a jellyfish. And oh my word, this is one of the best ones we have seen here in Florida in a very long time. Holy cow. Goodness me. You might hear the shutter from my camera going. I'm trying to get a couple of images while I can as well. Oh my goodness. Wow. Apologies if I'm a bit speechless, but we haven't seen a spectacle like this in a long time.
By the way, Max, we're coming up on entry burn.
Yes, we are. So by this point, Falcon 9's first stage has performed a reorientation via its RCS thrusters on board, and the grid fins have been deployed and is currently in preparation to fire 3 of its 9 Merlin 1D engines for its so-called entry burn to reduce its speed and make sure that it survives atmospheric re-entry. There we go. I have visual confirmation right here below the plume. Oh my goodness. Look at this. There it is. That dot below.
We can see it on Jerry's wide. Yep,
yes, we can.
There it is.
Look at that. And mind you, that's around 500 kilometers downrange, maybe a bit more. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, okay, we have visual shutdown here on the coast. It's still going on the stream. Still at 3 engines, and then they will shut down to 1 and then none.
Entry burn shutdown.
Okay, still on 3, single engine, and now complete shutdown. Look at this. Look at this.
There's the sun.
There's the sun.
Max, I have been operating streams for 3.5 years. This is the most beautiful launch I have seen.
This is like why I'm geeking out right now, because we haven't had I can't remember the last time we saw this, at least like in this detail.
There goes Jerry to grab a shot.
Look at this from Cape Cam. Oh my gosh.
Guys, I need to go outside.
If you want, Kevin, just like throw it on the SpaceX feed and hop out real quick.
That's right. Landing burn is coming up shortly.
Okay. Oh my gosh. It's almost at the freaking horizon now here from the Kennedy Space Center. Oh my goodness. Where are we at with the first stage there, Kevin? Coming up on entry or landing burn here. Falcon 9 rapidly ascending towards the cloud layer there, hopefully above the drone ship, a shortfall of Gravitas. Grid fins doing their work, helping make sure that the first stage is oriented properly. Plunging toward the cloud layer there. You can actually see a shortfall of Gravitas through that left grid fin. Here we go. Landing burn ignition. It is a singular Merlin 1D, engine number 1. Visual on board the drone ship.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Landing leg deploy. And touchdown. Booster 1080 on its 25th mission, landing successfully on the drone ship, a shortfall of Gravitas. Now we should be coming up also on a second engine cutoff, or SECO number 1 on the upper stage. Stay tuned for that in a few seconds.
Outside, Max, it's cloudy.
Oh no!
Back shutdown.
Boo! There we go. SECO number 1, second engine cut off number 1 of the vacuum optimized Merlin 1D engine on Falcon 9's upper stage.
All right, you ready for that?
Nominal orbit insertion.
There we go. Those magic words, nominal orbit insertion. Guys, the exhaust plume, look at that. It's still plainly visible. Oh my God.
I have just stepped back into the comms here, and oh wow. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh wow is right, Jerry.
Yeah, I once it started to get way up there, and I had a track on like sort of the camera, I put down the tracker. I had to get out my other camera because that was incredible. That's all I have to say.
I mean,
there will be some prints from this for sure.
1000%. I know we probably sounded like just rambling idiots. I'm terribly sorry if that was the case. But if you saw this in person, I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe us nerds are just a different breed of people. But I'm struggling to keep my marbles together right now, because also the way the exhaust remnants is currently in the atmosphere, as the sun continues to rise, the exhaust plume is only going to get brighter. So it's acting like its own sort of like human-made noctilucent clouds right now. And so they will turn from a white to a blue as the light angle changes from the sun as the sun rises. And my word, it looks almost like a heart now, almost, kind of, because there's a darker, it's like circular area. Probably no. Oh man, I'm trying to visually pick this all apart, like as we're seeing it live right now. Goodness me. It looks kind of like that almost looks like a bald eagle head right now. I'm not gonna lie. Of sorts. What do you think, Jerry? Like shape-wise?
Looking up a little bit, yeah, I can see it. Interesting, like almost like a little, not like a halo or like a hat or something on the top of it, but like a beak with the the neck. I'm just still staring up at it. I'm not really looking at the computer or anything, and just kind of listening to you and looking. Yeah, it's insane.
insane, I think, is the most appropriate word to use for it right now, because I'm still snapping away. Like, this is ridiculous.
Okay, guys.
Yes, sir.
It's actually aliens. It looks like an angel with their arms out right now.
It does. No, it does. Yeah, because there's that like dimmer circular bit or half circle on top there.
Above.
Oh my good! Look at the way it's fanning out and thinning up top there. Look at that. Like, what can you even say to that beyond us just mumbling or rambling at this point?
Chat, what is it?
It's like
I'm seeing like a dragon head, a bird. Oh my goodness. Look at that. I don't know if I have the words anymore, Kevin. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think my words have been between the hour of the morning that it currently is, the near full moon behind us here, and this wonderful spectacle that we have been able to share with who knows how many people this morning. Wow. Goodness me. And for anyone who's watching, if you are anywhere up the east coast of the United States, whether it be in Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, even going as far north again as Boston, if you have taken any photos or videos, please feel free to tag us on social media, either on X, Instagram, whatever platform you're on. We are likely on it, and because we want to see it, we want to see what this looked like from farther down range. It's a great way for us to all talk with each other and just enjoy what a marvelous visual spectacle this was.
Max, I'm trying to pull replays. I'm sorry. I had to watch the whole flight. Normally I do replays about 2 minutes, 3 minutes in.
I was about to ask you on the status of those.
I'm sorry. I'm behind.
No, you're good. You're good. I was like, Kevin, do we still have those coming? But yeah, I trust you. You're good.
They're coming. I'm sorry it's taking so long.
And to like almost piggyback off of what Max is saying, like if you have an even reasonable suspicion that you're in this area to go see, go look like now.
Please.
Like the time to look is fading quickly, but like anywhere up the east coast of the US, like just go outside.
We sound like those annoying parents whenever you're a kid. Go outside. Go outside. But yeah, actually go outside if you can. Like I'm fully awake now. I don't know about you, Jerry and Kevin, but I'm fully awake now.
Oh yeah, I'm going to crash later, but that was spectacular.
That was 100% worth the time and the effort, getting up at the ungodly morning of ungodly hours of the morning that it currently is, or was, just to see that. My word. I'm so glad that everyone was here to watch that with us. That was absolutely spectacular. I'm seeing tornado in chat now as well. It kind of does, the way it spirals down toward the bottom there. It almost looks like a poster, like the kind that you would draw in school class or something, or like an artist rendition of what a twister would look like. Or maybe one that's not on Earth. I mean, that is correct, because it's not. It's way up in the atmosphere. Oh my god! It's the most beautiful launch ever. I'm struggling to disagree with that at the moment. That was
certainly up there for sure.
Certainly up there, 100%. And also have to give a big shout out to John Krause and his predictor there on social media, right on the money. I mean, the wording there was very dramatic in the prediction, and I think the results speak for themselves. I'm not sure about you guys, but I think the results there, from what we saw, both with our cameras and our Mark 1 eyeballs, and those of you who are on stream may agree with that. Oh, Kevin, we have replays.
Yeah, we have replays, but I forgot to set the in point on this one, so you get to watch a little bit of darkness for a second.
Just waiting for that flash of orange from that artificial sunrise. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that, we had some support coming in from Bideford. Hey, what's up, Bideford? it's good to see you around. So totally awesome and unique. Yes, worth no sleep to see this. 100% Bideford. I'm so glad that you agree. Like, this is spectacular. I feel like a kid in a candy store right now. There's the replay right there on your screen now with Falcon 9 rising as a star almost over the ship there in the port, from courtesy of Rusty's at the port. It's a great restaurant to go eat at and look at some boosters and other recovery assets in port as they are coming in and out. Ascending out of frame as it is now. Wow.
So chat has voted 44% Dragon Head, 23% Alien Invasion, 18% Bird, and 15% Angel.
I mean, 23% Alien Invasion. I wouldn't rule it out.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't rule it out totally. Oh my goodness, yeah. But Dragonhead seems to have taken the victor there, and it's kind of hard to disagree with that. Honestly, that is kind of what. Now it's a big heart. Look at this. It's a heart. It's a literal heart.
That's awesome.
As we see a replay. Still, I think this is from one of the cameras here at the press site. One of our robots. Dude. Can somebody pull up Fleet Cam or not a Fleet Cam, but okay, there we go. On the right hand side of your screen. It's a heart. It's a literal heart. Look at that. Oh, now the replay from Jerry's wide camera here on the lawn.
Jerry did this one perfectly. I was trying to figure out why it was so wide. It stays in the shot.
I
forever.
was super nervous about this one too. I was thinking it was going to be a little bit too left, and go out of the frame, but no, it was it turned out really well, I think. Yeah, that's
Absolutely
what it was aiming for. If it wasn't obvious at the time. Yeah, I kept looking over and I saw that one on the main feed and was pleasantly surprised at how well that one turned out. So.
Yeah.
I mean, chat was probably getting mad at me for not bringing up the tracking shot, but like this shot was just so beautiful.
I know.
I don't blame you. The tracking did not do it justice compared to the wide shots. I mean, at the end, I pulled the tracker all the way out to the widest focal length I had, and just.
It's never wide enough once you're tracking. It never is.
No.
That's why you need stationary wide cameras like this one in the background.
Just like this one.
Just like this one was, exactly. Oh my goodness me. Look at the craziness. Look at that. The way it transitions so quickly from like this very dim glow to suddenly it's like red, orange, and now boom, it's a bright white and blue right in the sunlight. That's just how fast it's moving down range and how quickly it moved right into the sunlight. Look at that. Oh my God. Yeah, I sound like an absolute burbling idiot right now. And I do apologize to y'all in chat, but this is just an absolute treat. Holy cow. So Nathan in chat, I see you. Where do we send pics? Post them on social media and tag us. Either the main account at oh my gosh, I can't talk. At NASA Spaceflight or us as well. Either Jerry Pike or myself, Max Evans on social media. Max Q on X. We would love to see them if you have any, please. God, look at the way it's expanding. All the way down to the freaking horizon too. Goodness me. I'm so glad y'all in chat were here watching with us and sharing this very special moment. That was... I sound like an absolute broken record right now, but you guys are truly the best and the only reason why we are able to keep coming back and providing you guys the best coverage that we possibly can in this modern era of evolving spaceflight. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming out tonight and hanging out with us and enjoying this show. Yes, sir.
Max. 9/8 Central, one of our great supporters in chat just sent us a picture. You have to see this.
Oh God, yes, please post it. Where is it?
photobomb from me.
Where is
Wow.
it? What? Where is this from? This looks like Florida. The Florida coast somewhere. I could be wrong. 98 Central, where is this from? If you're still in chat.
They said SpaceX from the Daytona Beach shores.
Oh, fantastic.
They
Wonderful.
also posted a street shot.
Oh, marvelous. Those shortened streak shots are just gorgeous when done right, and absolutely well done here, sir. That was wonderful. And the tracking replay now from Jerry to wrap up tonight's coverage. Kevin, I think is it time to start thanking people? I feel like I've been rambling.
Definitely. I mean, you can thank yourself, me, and Jerry. That's about it.
Yeah.
All done.
Yeah. So first off in the field with us, bringing us these amazing views this morning, with both cameras and also talking with us as well, is the one and only Jerry Pike. Jerry, thank you so much for being on this morning.
Of course, it's always a pleasure to come out here, and it was definitely well worth it as I swat the mosquitoes away, but it was definitely something worth coming out here for, and I do not regret getting up at 3 in the morning to go look at this.
Not at all. And also,
we have another person in chat.
Oh.
Hunter O. Post this.
Oh
they
my
don't say where they
God.
are.
That also looks pretty Florida local, just based on the angle of the plume. But oh my God, that is beautiful.
Sorry,
Well,
I'm
also-
just going to keep going through chat while you're saying your goodbyes.
Yeah, you're good. Well, also, it's ironic you had that said, Kevin, because I have to say goodbye to you now, because you also woke up at a very early hour this morning.
I did, yes. But it was awesome to wake up at this time because we got to see that. We got to see aliens.
We sure did. We sure did. Oh my goodness. And of course, my name has been Max Evans, and I have been your host for this morning's stream of the Starlink 10-40 mission, and one of the most spectacular visual feasts that we have had in quite a long time. Folks, thank you very much for coming to hang out with us this morning, and we will hopefully see you guys soon, or again, very soon. Cheers.
And here we go.
There's the W. Here's ignition.
Doubling up.
Did you just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, that sure looks like a perfect flow.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
We did have an observation.
Inclination.
343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers can fly!
Bingo! Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No!
Oh my God.
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.